Just 7 days before the wedding, Logan's parents decided to whisk him away on a family vacation. When he came back, something about him had changed. He was cold, distant. Then he hit me with, "I think we should take a break." I didn't flinch. I gave him a calm smile, handed over a folder, and said, "That's interesting." Because I'd just gotten my hands on some details about that so-called trip. As he flipped through it, his face twisted into anger, aimed straight at his parents. We were supposed to tie the knot last month. Everything had already been arranged. The venue? Reserved. My dress? Hung and waiting. Guests had their invitations. The cake was ordered. We'd poured months of planning into this day. The whole celebration was set to happen in Savannah, Georgia, right where we live. And as far as I knew, things were going smoothly. Logan and I had been together for 3 years. I truly believed he was my forever person. Sure, we weren't flawless, but who is? We hardly argued. He could always make me laugh. We shared the same dreams. I was genuinely happy. But his parents? Not exactly fans of mine. His mom, Elaine, had this way of looking at me like she was calculating whether my shoes were pricey enough to earn her attention. And Gerald, his dad, he only opened his mouth to either brag about his car or complain about millennials. It was pretty clear they'd never been fond of me. I wasn't born into money or anything fancy. I had a regular job. Country clubs and Ivy League talk didn't mean anything to me. And I knew deep down they didn't think I was good enough for their son. Logan used to brush it off, always telling me not to worry. Said they'd warm up eventually. They never did. About a week before the big day, Logan casually mentioned that his parents were taking him on a trip to Miami. No real explanation. Just a last little family outing before the wedding. I remember thinking the timing was strange, but I didn't want to stir up an argument. So I told him it was fine. Now, thinking back, I should have caught the signs. He seemed way too eager to head out. Barely kissed me goodbye when he left that Thursday. And by Saturday night, I could feel something was wrong. Total coincidence, but my best friend Harper lives in Miami. She bartends at this flashy place downtown, somewhere people go when they want to show off their bank accounts. She rang me during her shift. "Hey," she said, "isn't Logan supposed to be getting married next weekend?" "Yeah, why?" I asked. "Well, I'm pretty sure I just saw him. With his parents. And another girl." My stomach dropped like a rock. She said they were parked at a VIP table all evening. Logan, his mom, his dad, and some girl she'd never seen before. Young, bleach blonde, overly tanned, and squeezed into a tight little dress. Not someone who just wandered by. Harper said Elaine and Gerald were practically draping themselves over her, laughing, chatting her up. And Logan? He wasn't exactly telling her to back off. That's when it all clicked. This trip wasn't just a last hurrah. It was a setup. They'd brought him there to meet someone else. And they did it a week before our wedding. After that call, everything blurred. I just sat there on the couch, completely numb. But then, the numbness turned into anger. And when I get mad, I zero in. By Sunday morning, I was on the phone, found a private investigator in Miami who specialized in relationship surveillance. Paid him extra to track Logan and his parents until they left. By Monday afternoon, I had the first batch of photos. By Tuesday, there was video footage. Come Wednesday, I had a full, detailed report. Dinner outings, hotel bars, poolside lounging, shopping trips, another fancy dinner. And in every single setting, Logan was right there with her, opening doors for her, laughing at everything she said, sitting shoulder to shoulder like they were already a thing. And his parents? They looked thrilled. There was even a shot of Elaine and Gerald walking in front of them hand in hand, while Logan and this girl trailed behind, whispering like school kids. I didn't say a word to anyone. Not yet. I was just biding my time. Logan got home late Sunday night. By Monday morning, he came by the house. I kept things light. Made us some coffee. Chatted like nothing was wrong. Asked how the trip went. He was clearly on edge, avoiding my eyes. Then he said it, the infamous line. "I think we should take a break." I looked at him for a second. A break? 6 days before our wedding. I didn't ask why. Didn't press for details. I just smiled. I reached over, grabbed the folder I had prepped, and slid it across the table. "That's funny," I said, "because I just got some details about that little vacation of yours." He opened it. At first, he looked puzzled. Then he went pale. He kept flipping through the pages, over and over, like he was hoping the images would change into something else. But they didn't. That's when the front door swung open, and in came Elaine and Gerald like they owned the place. Elaine had her wedding planner notebook in hand. Gerald was glued to his phone. "Hope we're not early," Elaine chirped. "We've got lots to go over, Mason." Then she caught sight of Logan's face, the folder, and me, calmly sipping my coffee, just watching it unfold. Nobody said anything. For a good minute, the silence just hung there. Then Logan finally snapped out of it. "What the hell is this?" he said, not to me, but to his parents. Gerald kept his eyes on his phone, pretending to hear nothing. Elaine gave a fake little laugh. "Oh, don't be dramatic." Logan glanced back at the folder, then looked straight at me. "How did you get these?" I shrugged. "Doesn't matter. You and your parents can figure things out from here. I'm done." And that's where things stand. No final moves made yet. The wedding's off for now. I haven't told most people. I'm still sitting with it, trying to figure out what comes next. But watching Logan finally realize that his own parents tried to replace me just 5 days before we were supposed to say, "I do?" Yeah, that was the first moment in days I felt like I could breathe again. After I said I was done, the silence was thick, like fog you could cut through. Elaine, still clutching her planner, set it down on the counter like we were about to go over centerpieces. "Let's not overreact," she said smoothly, as if I was being unreasonable. "These pictures don't mean anything. We just wanted Logan to mingle a little. Meet some new faces." "New faces?" I repeated, louder than I meant to. "A week before our wedding? That's what you think is normal?" Gerald finally looked up. "Don't cause a scene," he said, cold and flat. "We were just thinking long term. We didn't want Logan to settle down if there were better options out there." I swear, I felt the breath leave my lungs. Better options. Logan still hadn't said a word. He just kept flipping through that folder like the truth might change if he stared hard enough. His face was flushed now. Was it guilt? Shame? Anger? Maybe all of it. "You let this happen," I told him. "You were part of it." He finally looked at me. "It wasn't what you think," he said weakly. "Then tell me," I snapped. "Was this your little test drive? See what else was out there while I stayed home writing seating charts?" He rubbed his forehead, like I was being the difficult one. "I just didn't want to stir things up," Logan muttered. "And that?" That's when I laughed, loud, sharp, and completely unplanned. "Didn't want to stir things up?" I echoed, practically choking on the words. "You could have just told me you didn't want to marry me. But instead, you fly off to Miami with your parents to see if someone better shows up." Elaine plopped herself down on my couch like it was her living room. "This is getting absurd," she huffed. "We didn't say anything because we knew how you'd react. So dramatic. Always so emotional." She waved her hand toward me like I was throwing a tantrum in a grocery store aisle. That's when something in me snapped. I grabbed the folder again, yanked out one of the pictures, the one where Logan's practically playing footsie with that girl, Brooke, according to the report. I marched right up to Elaine and held the photo inches from her face. "You want to talk about ridiculous?" I asked, my voice steady but seething. "You brought this girl along on your family trip and tried to swap me out like a broken appliance. And you're acting like I'm the crazy one." Gerald stood up then, brushed imaginary lint off his blazer like he was wrapping up a meeting instead of standing in the middle of my living room. "You need to calm down," he said, all smooth and composed. "Let's not turn this into something messy." But it already was messy. I could feel it, something deep inside of me shifting like a fault line cracking open. Oh, it's messy, I told him. And trust me, it's about to get worse. I hadn't meant to say it, it just kind of slipped out. But once I did, I knew I wasn't bluffing. Not even a little. I still had the full PI report sitting in my inbox. What I'd printed was just the surface. I had receipts, hotel charges, flight adjustments, even a video of Elaine and Brooke at the hotel bar, where Elaine said, clear as day, once this little wedding blows over, you and Logan will have all the time in the world. I hadn't shown Logan that clip. Not yet. But at that moment, I started thinking maybe I should. Logan raked a hand through his hair and sighed. Look, I don't even like Brooke. My mom invited her. This wasn't my idea. Okay, I said, folding my arms. Then did you tell her to leave? Did you tell your parents no? He didn't answer. Just silence. Yeah, that's what I thought. Then Elaine turned to Logan, completely ignoring me like I was just noise. That's enough, she said sharply. Don't let her ruin everything. Just say you didn't mean it. Get her to calm down and we'll move forward. She really said that. Like I was just an emotional flare-up to extinguish. A little bump on the road to their perfect plan. That's when Logan finally sat up straighter, like he'd been hit in the chest. Mom. Stop. Elaine blinked, confused. What? I said stop, he repeated, quieter this time. You're making this worse. Oh, I'm making it worse? Elaine snapped. I've spent months cleaning up after her bad taste. Do you know how embarrassing this whole wedding has been for us? The guest list. The food. The decor. None of it meets our standards. I felt like my head might actually explode. I stared at Logan, my jaw tight. And this is okay with you? You're still defending them after all of this. He didn't say a word. Just sat there. That's when my phone lit up on the table. A message from Harper. Girl. I just overheard Brooke at the bar. You won't believe what she's saying. Call me ASAP. I looked Elaine straight in the eye. Yeah, I said slowly, standing up. I think it's time I started making a few calls. Actually, make that a lot of calls. That finally got Gerald's attention. Let's stay reasonable, he said, raising a hand. There's no need to make this public. Too late. That's when a new idea struck me like lightning. If Brooke was still in Miami, flapping her lips, I needed to know exactly what she was spilling. And if Elaine and Gerald thought they could sweep this under the rug, they had no idea who they were messing with. I didn't reply to Harper right away. I just stood there, staring at the three of them like they were some twisted sitcom cast frozen in my living room. Logan looked ashamed. Elaine looked irritated. Gerald acted like he was just some innocent bystander. And all I could think was, what else are they hiding? I turned to Logan. How long have you actually known Brooke? I told you, he said quickly, shaking his head. I didn't know her before the trip. Elaine let out a dramatic scoff. Oh, please. You're acting like you're on trial. Nobody did anything wrong. But Logan. Logan didn't look so convinced anymore. I picked up my phone, walked into the kitchen, and hit Harper's number. She picked up on the first ring. Hey. You need to hear this, she said right away. Brooke's been at the bar all afternoon, running her mouth like she already sealed the deal. I didn't say a word. Just let her keep going. And Harper added, she told her friend your wedding was never going to happen. Said Elaine promised her that if she got close to Logan during the trip, they'd take care of the rest. Take care of the rest? I repeated. Yeah, as in, make sure the wedding was off and you were out of the picture. Brooke's telling everyone she was flown in to help break you guys up. That's when my pulse started hammering in my chest. This wasn't just some flirty vacation fluke. This was premeditated. They planned this, Harper said flat out. I hung up, walked back into the living room, placed my phone down slowly on the coffee table and looked Elaine right in the face. So, I asked, how much did you pay her? Elaine blinked. Excuse me, Brooke. How much did you pay her to come on that trip and throw herself at Logan? Gerald shifted in his seat. Logan looked like he wanted to melt into the floor. Elaine gave me a smirk. You really are dramatic. I just got off the phone with someone who heard Brooke talking, I said calmly. She said you promised her the wedding would be canceled. That Logan would be free. So I'll ask one more time, how much did you pay her? Still no answer. Then Logan turned to his mom and asked, barely above a whisper, wait, did you? And Elaine, bless her ice-cold heart, didn't even deny it. Just shrugged like it was no big deal. We gave her a little incentive, she said. Nothing major. Some gifts. A bit of spending money. Why is everyone acting like this is some huge scandal? I just stood there, floored. They actually paid her. They paid a woman to sabotage my relationship a week before the wedding. And Logan? He looked like he was just starting to understand how far down the rabbit hole he'd fallen. I thought you said she was just a family friend, he muttered. Elaine laughed, short and cruel. Oh, please. You didn't seem to mind her company. Now Logan looked like he might be sick. That's when I decided to go all in. Oh, and by the way, I added, Brooke's been talking nonstop today. If I wanted to, I could take her story and post it online. Maybe send it to the venues. Maybe let all the guests know why the wedding was really canceled. Gerald cleared his throat like he was about to deliver a legal disclaimer. There's no need for that. Let's not be rash. Rash? I snapped. You think I'm being rash? Your family tried to swap me out for someone else a week before our wedding, and now I'm the problem. And just to top it off, my phone buzzed again. Another message from Harper. Brooke's still in town. She's asking when Logan's coming back. I turned to him, my stare like a spotlight. Did you know she stayed? I asked. He shook his head fast. No. No, I didn't. No, I didn't, Logan insisted. I haven't spoken to her since we left Miami. I swear. But by that point, everything was falling into place in my head. Elaine didn't just invite Brooke, she recruited her. Lured her into mess with Logan's head. And I was starting to think she offered a whole lot more than pocket change. Brooke wasn't just tagging along for free drinks and poolside selfies. She was banking on this turning into something real. And Logan? Either he was completely oblivious, or he'd been lying to my face. Neither one gave me any comfort. Be honest with me, I said, looking him dead in the eye. Before Miami, did you ever think about backing out of the wedding? He paused, then finally said, maybe. I don't know. I wasn't sure. And they kept telling me maybe I should see what else is out there. I just nodded. Cool, I said, flatly. That's good to know. Because right then, I had all the information I needed. I wasn't just dealing with two snobby in-laws trying to sabotage me. I was engaged to a man who watched the whole thing unfold and called it keeping the peace. And Brooke? She wasn't some random blonde. She was part of the plan. And the worst part? That plan wasn't even over yet. If she was still hanging around town waiting for Logan to run back to her, then Elaine's little bride swap was still active. But here's the twist, they didn't count on me not backing down. Now I had the receipts. And now they knew I had them. And now? It was time they finally faced the consequences. That night, I didn't sleep. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, replaying every lie, every detail. The fake family trip, Brooke's arrival, Logan's silence. The fact that he actually admitted he wasn't even sure about marrying me before he left. And suddenly, everything about that Miami trip made perfect sense. It was never about family time. It was a setup. By morning, I knew exactly what needed to happen. I made some calls, forwarded the PI report to Harper, texted my maid of honor, Paige, and told her to meet me at our usual coffee spot. I need backup, I said. Paige sipped her drink and raised an eyebrow. Are you sure you're ready for this? Oh, I'm past ready, I told her. It's time they explain themselves with an audience. And that's how I ended up inviting Logan, Elaine, Gerald, and yes, even Brooke, to the wedding venue the next day. The actual venue, where the wedding was supposed to be held. I told them it was a last-minute emergency meeting about the ceremony. Elaine loved it, of course. Probably thought it was one final chance to dictate the napkin colors. She had no idea what was coming. By noon, everyone had arrived. The venue staff were still setting up chairs, prepping for a wedding that clearly wasn't going to happen anymore. It was surreal, watching people get ready for my fake future while my real one imploded. Brooke strutted in last, like she owned the place. She was wearing this tight white dress, sky-high heels, and club-level makeup. I swear she thought she was walking down the aisle. She glanced around, saw me, and smirked. "Didn't realize this was a group meeting," she said, loud enough for the whole room to hear. "Yeah," I replied. "Thought it'd be good to clear the air." Everyone took a seat at one of the big round tables meant for the reception. Logan looked like he hadn't slept. Gerald looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. Elaine? Smug as ever. Brooke looked like she thought this was her moment. And me? I opened my laptop, hooked it up to the venue projector, and pulled up the PI photos on the giant screen behind me. First photo, Logan and Brooke by the pool. Second one, Elaine and Brooke clinking glasses. Third, Brooke kissing Logan's cheek while Gerald watched from the corner. The room went completely silent. Then I hit play on the video. The one where Elaine leaned in and told Brooke, "Once this little wedding blows over, you and Logan will have all the time in the world." Elaine's voice echoed across the room like a slap. And when the video ended, I turned around and faced them all. "Anyone want to explain that?" Elaine finally spoke, rolling her eyes. "Oh, grow up. You're making this into some big scandal." Nothing happened. Logan didn't cheat. Brooke's just a friend. "A friend you paid," I said. "We know. Brooke's been bragging about it all over Miami. Half of South Beach knows what went down." Brooke tossed her hair. "Well, I wouldn't say half," she said with a smirk. "But yeah, it wasn't exactly a secret. Your little wedding was never gonna happen. Logan deserves someone who fits in. Someone with class." She really said that. With a straight face. Paige, who had stayed quiet until that moment, let out a sharp laugh and muttered, "Jesus Christ." Then Logan stood up. And for a brief second, I actually thought he was going to defend me. But no. He looked at his mom, then at Brooke, then back at me. And all he said was, "I think we should all just go our separate ways." And that's when it hit me like a brick. He was never going to fight for me. Not then. Not ever. This wasn't just Elaine's doing. Logan went along with it. He may not have masterminded it, but he sure as hell didn't stop it. He wanted a way out, and his parents served it to him on a silver platter. I closed my laptop, slid it into my bag, and stood up. "Well," I said, calm and cold, "this is the last time any of you will see me. Good luck explaining all this when the guests start asking why the wedding's off." And with that, I walked out. Paige followed a few seconds later. "You handled that like a damn queen," she said, jogging to catch up. "Seriously, you could have slapped somebody, but that was better." About 10 minutes later, Harper called me. "You are not gonna believe this," she said. "Brooke's already posting Instagram stories acting like she just got engaged to Logan. Like, #future missus, #upgrade. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because what else can you do? By that evening, the stories started leaking. Friends started texting. Guests started asking what happened. Elaine tried to play it off as a mutual decision, but it didn't hold. Brooke couldn't keep her mouth shut. By the next week, everybody knew. And here's how the aftermath played out. Elaine and Gerald lost a lot of friends. Turns out, most people don't like being part of a wedding where the groom's parents tried to bribe another woman to replace the bride. Logan? He stayed with Brooke for about 3 weeks. She bounced the second she realized there was no wedding, no cash, no luxury lifestyle. Just Logan. And his personality, which, let's be honest, is about as exciting as soggy toast. Brooke? Oh, she got roasted online. Harper may or may not have slipped a few juicy details to the right people. And me? Yeah, it hurt. More than I wanted to admit. I kept asking myself how I didn't see it coming. How I missed the signs. How Logan let it spiral this far. How Elaine and Gerald actually thought they could pull this off like it was some cheesy soap opera. But once the dust settled, I found something I didn't expect: peace. Because I wasn't married to someone who didn't love me. I wasn't stuck with a family that thought I wasn't enough. And instead of crying into my wedding dress all weekend, I threw a party with the people who actually love me. We called it the unwedding. We had champagne, karaoke, and yes, we smashed the wedding cake with forks. And somewhere around midnight, I realized something. I wasn't sad anymore. I was free. And honestly, that felt better than any wedding ever could.